Hello, everybody. Welcome to another QMJHL pre-draft interview for Moncton 2024. I'm here with Ryan Howard, a forward for the Lac St-Louis Lions. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, to get right into it, could you describe a little bit your style of play for someone who has never seen you play before?
Okay, I would say that I'm a hard nosed kind of player, and I'm a power forward. I like to play hard and win those battles in the corners, and I'm one of those players that doesn't really let stuff go, and if you touch our goalie, he's probably gonna be bad for you. So that's about
So
it.
you're the type of player for who the other team hates playing against.
Exactly.
What do you think you're going to bring to the team that's going to pick you?
I think I'm gonna bring a lot. I think I'm gonna bring toughness. I think I'm gonna bring leadership on and off the ice, and yeah.
And if you had to pick one of your attributes, what do you think would be like your specialty, your X factor, if you know the term from NHL?
Um, hmm, my skating. I
Your
think.
skating.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's perfect because it gets right into it. Often with forwards your size, one of the problem we see is how at ease they are on their skates, their skating ability. How was that for you? Was that a challenge developing that? And where are you at that now?
I think that's what separates me from guys that are my size is that I can also skate like some of these smaller guys, and my edges are good, and I'm comfortable on my skates all around the ice.
And what would you say is the biggest challenge of being a tall forward?
The biggest challenge of being a tall forward. Um, hmm. Probably having to defend the smaller guys.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Because how do you, so to get back on that, how do you defend someone who's a little bit smaller who can beat you with how quick he is?
I try to stay composed and not try to beat him. Not try to poke check him too early, and I play the body on him. And the key is when he's coming up on you, and you don't want to get beat. You try to stay composed so that he doesn't. Because if you make the first move, then he's just gonna go right around you, and it's gonna be easy for him. But if you let him make the first move and you just react to him, then it's a lot easier to play him.
So would you say patience is a big part of your who you are as a player?
Yeah, it is. On defense. I think on offense, I'm more of a kind of go, 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 go guy. But on defense, I like to be more patient, so it's not as easy for them to beat me.
I get it. And last year you were playing in QM15, but you made a 2 game stint in the QM17. What was that like? Was it a hard jump to make for only 2 games?
No, I thought it was. The guys were definitely bigger and stronger, but I liked playing at a higher level, and it kind of got me ready for midget this year.
And how was the transition from QN15 to this year? How has your year been going?
Good. I thought the first like 5 or 10 games, I was still getting used to it, and I had a couple injuries because I wasn't really used to the speed and the hitting. But now that I'm used to it, I feel really comfortable, and I feel that I've gotten used to it pretty quick.
And what would you say is the thing you've learned the most from your 2 years in QM15?
My 2 years into QM15, the things that I've learned is that for my type of player, it's not smart to be looking to get points, and I usually always try to go into games like last year. We had a lot of guys on our team with a lot of points, and I'm not necessarily that type of player. So I would be going into games thinking, oh, I want to get 2 points, 3 points, but in reality, I'm not that type of player, and I need to start thinking that I need to go into the game just to play hard, and then the points will come. Because every time I go into a game and I play my game, the points come.
And what's your favorite type of player to play with? So I'm asking this because in Lac St-Louis, you have a lot of talented young forwards who are eligible for the draft this year, and a lot of variety. So Dylan Rossi doesn't play like Santini. What
Yeah.
type of player do you think you fit with the most?
I definitely think I'd want to play with Dylan Rossi because anytime you're on the ice with him, he just finds you, and he's really easy to play with because he's always in the right spots, and whenever he has the puck, he's going to find you or he's going to score. So it's going to be a good shift.
Talking about the talented players from Lac St-Louis, even in the past years, Lac St-Louis is one of the team from the QM18 who has developed and sent the most players to the NHL. So a great place to develop. What is it like for you and the other young players to have so many examples to look up to?
Yeah, for sure. Even our coaching staff, they've all been places and they all have a lot of experience. So it's good. And sometimes we get guys coming back to practice that used to play here, and now they come back and lead by example. And it's really inspiring to see what they do and then see how we could do it too.
And what do you think makes Lac St-Louis such a great organization to develop? What makes them so successful?
I think it's our standard. There's no, we don't take a practice off. We don't, we have a really tight standard, and it's why we win. And yeah, that's it. And
on your team, you have a lot of players with who you have been playing since you are very young. So who's the player on your team with whom you have played the longest?
With who I played the longest? Probably Dylan Rossi, because I've played with him since pre-novice because we were both in the same city. So I played with him since I was really young.
And what advantages does that bring when you go to another level and you have the same talented guys who are there with you? Does that help? How does it affect the transition?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. I mean, it's guys that I'm close with, so when I'm on the ice, we don't have to get used to each other. We're already in each other's heads, and it's the chemistry is definitely already there.
And is that a big challenge? You think is that going to be a big challenge? You think when you're going to make the jump to the QMJHL, if that's where you decide to play?
No, I don't think that's going to be a challenge for me to get used to my line mates. Every new team that I've played on is just I'm one of those guys that just I can kind of play wherever. So it's really easy for me to get used to my line mates, and I don't really have to change anything.
And what aspect of the QMJHL play do you think you're most ready for?
I'm most ready for the physical aspect of the Q because I'll be able to really show what I can do, and it's a lot faster. So it's more my pace, and I'm excited for
that. You have a team that's very young with a lot of talented players going into the draft, like I said before. So the competition must be hard when you go into practice in the locker room. How do you keep that healthy while keep pushing each other to be better players?
Yeah, I mean, we do that every day. We push each other every day, and it's always healthy because we're all, as soon as we're on the ice and we're battling hard and we're fighting each other, and then when we get off the ice, we're best friends. So it's always healthy and it's always good for us.
And I want to get into something that's kind of special into the QM18. It's the CCM Challenge, which is like a pretty intense 4 or 5 days of hockey. What was your experience like participating in that this year?
Yeah, it was definitely different hockey. It was faster because everybody was competing a bit harder. We ended up not doing too well, but I still had a lot of fun with it, and it was cool to see every team there. Some teams that we haven't seen yet, and the Maritimes teams too. So yeah, it was cool.
And do you think if you get face to face with the CCM Challenge champions in the playoff, it's going to be more motivation to beat them?
Yeah, for sure. We want to beat those guys now, and even some of the teams that beat us in the CCM Challenge to get us out, like the Amos team. We have a little chip on our shoulder now, and we want to beat them too in the playoffs. So, let's see.
And talking about intense games, you guys are very close in distance to Rousseau Royal, Montreal. Does that make the games against them more intense? Do you feel like that's a little bit of a rivalry?
Yeah, I feel like when we play the teams in our division, even not just Rousseau Royal, but like the Grenadiers, every time we play them, it's a bit of a rivalry, and I definitely feel it. It's our game is a lot more intense. And it's different than that when we play like a team like Jonquière, where we don't really see them too often, and it's a lot different when we play a team that we have a bit of a rivalry with.
And when you get into a division team, so like Rousseau Royal, one of the team against who you play the most in the year, Do you feel like your game plan is more ready? You know them a lot better. Is that an advantage? Again, like for example, when you play against Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, I think it's a huge advantage because we know the team. Like we know their team, we know their goalies, we know a little bit about their structure. And when we play a team like Jonquière, we don't really know anything about them. All we know is film. So if we can't watch too much film, so yeah, it's definitely easier to play a team that we play a lot.
Talking about, you said their goalkeepers. You guys had a great goalkeeper, and they had also a great goalkeeper. How, as a forward, do you beat someone like Lucas Beckman, who has had a super solid season in the QM18, very consistent, and who has shown the same thing in the QMJHL this year? How do you beat a guy like that?
Goalies like that, you gotta make them move. So instead of maybe shooting that shot from the outside dot, you maybe got to pass that because on guys like LaSalle and Beckman, they're gonna stop those easy shots. So you can't waste the puck, and you gotta look for that extra pass or getting close to the net to score because it's really hard to score on those guys.
And what type of advantages do you think it gives you to have someone like LaSalle backing you up in defense? Do you think that takes a little bit of a weight off the team's shoulder?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think he really gives us confidence to in these games, but he also gives us pressure, like because we know how seriously he takes it, and we know that we can never take a shift off because he's going to be there, and we know that he's giving it his all every shift. So if we don't give it our all, then it's like, what are we doing? So there's some pressure on us to always play well in front of him, but also it gives us a lot of confidence to be in front of him.
And how did his multiple calls up help you guys? Do you think it prepared you guys to play in case he gets injured before the playoff, or he has to go to the QMJHL before the playoffs?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's good that he's been getting called up because if not, he would probably be playing all these games. So yeah, it's good that we're getting some time without him so that we can maybe prepare if he gets injured or if something happens. And it's just making us better. We're learning how to play without LaSalle and net.
And to get back to the CCM challenge, I wanted to get your perspective. How do you feel the challenge helped you from a development standpoint? It's a lot of hockey in a few days. Do you think it makes a difference to your game?
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference because we never really usually play 3 games in 3 days like we did. So I was definitely taking care of my body and yeah, I didn't really change the way I played because of it because I still wanted to play hard but I definitely went to bed earlier and take care of my body.
And when you get into the QMJHL, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes the teams play 3-on-3, or often they play 2 games in a row. How do you anticipate that, and do you feel like you're ready for that?
Yeah, I'm for sure ready. I'm in really good shape, and this summer I'll be getting in better shape. So I'll be good for those.
Talking about your shape, fitness, did you change anything to your workout for your draft year, or is it same as usual?
No, same as usual. But I mean, we'll definitely be going harder this summer. Now that I'm making the jump.
And is making the CSR list an extra motivation for you, seeing all the A-rated guys?
Oh yeah, it's motivational, but it's also I still just want to. I'm not really focusing on anything like that. I'm just playing hockey, right? So it's cool to see, but I'm not really focusing on it.
Do you watch a lot of hockey in general on your off time?
Yeah, like every day.
And did you have a favorite player with whom you inspires you a little bit for your game? It can be a player right now or a player in the past when you were younger.
Oh, I think Brady Tkachuk
Okay.
inspires me a lot because he plays hard. He plays like me, or I play like him. Sorry, and yeah.
And do you think that leadership you bring is something big? Like, I think Ottawa would not be the same without Brady Tkachuk. When you talk about the comparison, is it also you feel like you're the same type of player in the locker room?
Yeah, I do. And just because I'm a 2008 and I'm just a first year, doesn't mean that I don't bring that same leadership role as one of the older guys. And I think I bring a huge leadership part to our team, and I don't think it would be the same without me.
And when you look at how you were playing at the beginning of the season, it's a new league. You're finding a little bit your game in that league. What do you think has improved the most about your game this season?
My composure and my patience with the puck. So at the beginning of the year, I was trying to be fancy and trying to be. I was moving the puck too fast and I was throwing it away a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm trying to, the whole year I've been trying to relax a little with the puck and be more patient with it, and it seems to be working.
And when you look at your overall game right now, for sure you're at a good place. But if you had to pick something you want to improve, what would it be?
My defense for sure, and because in the playoffs, it's basically the only thing that matters is our defense, and we gotta stay sharper in the D zone. And my defense is good, but I need to improve on it a lot.
And you talk about the playoffs that are coming. We talked about the playoff coming up a little bit earlier, and you talk about how intense you are. What do you think? How much do you think it's an advantage for your team to have someone intense like you during an intense follow-up of game like the playoffs?
Yeah, I think the playoffs are where players like me show up more, and we have a lot of guys on our team like me, or a couple guys on our team like me, and I think it's a huge advantage to have guys like me on the team for playoffs, because it gets more intense and it gets faster, and you need guys that are able to play hard and play to that pace.
And to end the interview, of course, we can't predict the future, but if I'm asking you right now, what are your goals for now until next season? Where would you like to be at the same time next year?
I would like to be playing in the QMJHL, drafted by a good team, and having fun.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Ryan. I'm wishing you the best for the QMJHL draft, and you have everything it takes to make the jump.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.